while we're waiting for people to join us, I have not eaten a hot dog since I was probably 20 years old. And the reason why I haven't eaten a hot dog since I was 20 years old is because a friend of mine used to deliver to the plant. There was a plant, a meat plant in Vancouver, and he said that he witnessed all of the bins that were being dumped to to create the hot dog itself, that they were scooping up all the intestines and all the leftovers from exactly right, the leftovers from pigs and cows, etc. Everything that was not good, everything that was not able to be sent to the stores for packaging was actually put into a grinder, and that's how hot dogs were made. And when he told me that, oh my gosh, he did tell me many other things too, especially about Campbell's soup, etc. But that hot dog moment stuck with me, and I haven't had one since. Now, the thing is that I'm discovering that I can actually make a hot dog with chickpeas. So I'm very excited. What is it? The Yum Bakery at our farmer's market actually makes amazing sourdough hot dog buns. So now I'm gonna actually make on my next potluck, I'm gonna make hot dogs and homemade ketchup and homemade mayonnaise and chickpea hot dogs. I am very excited. Welcome to our Life First Nation podcast. Tonight, our episode is really about all of us remembering our magnificence. And it can be challenging to remember our magnificence, especially when we are experiencing pain and suffering. Now, I just want to have everyone close your eyes. We're just going to breathe in some prana, breathe in life force energy, breathe in deep. We are all deep divers. We deep dive into truth. We deep dive into our life. We deep dive into topics that are really life-changing. And this is why I really appreciate all of you, because you are deep divers and you really want to know the truth. You ask powerful questions. And that's what life is really all about, is for us to have an understanding of who we are and what reality is all about. Today, it's again about remembering your magnificence. And in saying that, how many of you have been, and be honest in the chat, how many of you have been going through the murky mud, which is the opposite, the opposite end of magnificence? How many of you experienced the murky mud? I have, and I'm going to be so honest with you as I am, because I think that we all learn from each other and through each other. I've definitely been in the murky mud the last couple of weeks. Yes, Ray, Judy, lots of murky mud. MC, I love mud. Yeah, when we're in the mud, we gotta love it. Absolutely. Moments of murky mud. Yes, Kathy, definitely. Now, when I say murky mud, that's at the bottom of the spectrum in regards to life in itself. I mean, if we're in the mud, we're with the pigs, right? We're with the swine. We are with the lowest common denominator in regards to frequency in life. And I'm not saying that as a judgment, I'm saying that as an observation. Now I'm going to move back and forth from below the line to above the line. I'm also going to move back and forth from NPC, a non-player character, to source player as well, so that you can have an understanding of how reality works. And again, to not judge ourselves when we're in the murky mud, because a lot of times we can think, oh my gosh, I'm a source player. I'm not meant to be this far down. I know the skills. I know how to be in source player mode. And there's going to be times when we're not listening to instructions from our operator, where we can spiral down into the murky mud way below the line and experience a lot of pain and suffering when we're there too. It's always going to be different degrees. It's because everyone is on a unique journey as well. So it's really important for all of us to have an understanding of that too. Now, I'm going to be using my life as an example. And as I'm speaking, I would love for you, if I say something that you really get, it makes a lot of sense, write it down or write it in the chat. Because as you're sharing in the chat what inspires you, then others in the chat are going to see your comment and they're going to go, yeah, that's how I feel too. So that we know that we're not alone and that we know that we're getting the downloads, we're getting what is here on our for our own instructions as we're moving up and out of the murky mud and remembering our magnificence at the same time. Okay, now, so here is the murky mud. What happens if we're in the murky mud? You've seen me do this before in regards to the spheres of reality. So these are just different levels of consciousness that we're here to rise up. So if this is 3D reality here, this can be 5D reality. If this is your NPC, this can be your source player mode here. If you're energetically vibrating at level 3 right now, you're on your way to experiencing these other aspects of reality. Because we live in a multidimensional universe, a multidimensional planes of consciousness. So there is so much life here. And if we're only experiencing 1, 2, 3 levels of consciousness, we are missing out. We're missing out on so much that's available to us, and we have not been taught that life is multidimensional. We've been taught that we only live in a 3D reality spinning through space. And when we truly get that we are here to keep shifting up, leveling up in consciousness, because right now, how many of you are experiencing the shift right now that there's a split between 3D and 5D? I'm experiencing it in very many ways. It's incredible. So 5D is really when we're in source player mode. 5D is divine love. And 5D is when you think a thought and it manifests. Like for instance, today I had a client and I was talking to her and this wasn't my intention, this was her intention. And she said, I was with my girls and we decided to have fun with being source players. And I said, let's render pink cars. How many pink cars can we see today? And they were driving downtown in Toronto. And then afterwards, after my session with my client, I went and had an acupuncture session and I was backing out of my vehicle. What car did I have to wait for? What color was the car that I had to wait for as it was driving by? Pink. So this goes to show that it doesn't even have to be our intentions that render reality. It can be anyone that's in your field. So we have to be very careful of what intentions our friends are putting forth, our family members, our spouse, our beloved, etc. Because if those intentions are not high, we can also experience, what we don't want in reality as well. So we have to make sure that we're thinking the best in regards to the reality that we want to experience. So what happened for me is that if I'm in level 4 right here, okay, this here is called a Vesica Pisces. It's a birthing zone. So when you go from one level of consciousness to the next level of consciousness, you expand into a different reality. Well, when I was in Paraguay, I was to expand into the next level of consciousness for myself because I was there doing some really powerful spiritual work. And Source kept telling me, Karen, don't eat. Don't eat this. Don't eat that. Don't eat this. Don't eat that. Did I listen? No, I did not listen. Oh, this is like so good, so good. And when we don't listen, then what happens is we will spiral back down into the same sphere. We won't spiral back down into a lower sphere, but we'll still spiral back down into the same sphere that we have been in for a while. But if we do spiral down or stay stuck in that one that we're in, we are going to experience pain and suffering. And the thing is that Source was saying to me, don't eat. I mean, Source wasn't saying to me I had to fast while I was in Paraguay. That was not the point. And I wasn't eating bad food because I don't. I eat very healthy, but it was more like the pastas and the breads. It's too much heavy, heavy foods. For the work that I was going to be doing there and was doing there, I needed to eat lighter. Yes, I was still eating the fruit, but again, I was eating a lot, like a lot of German food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, etc. And when any time that we're being called to do spiritual work, energy work, uh, creating energetic ley lines or domes of energy, uh, the body is not to be dense. The body needs to be light. And my body was not light. And so, of course, I paid that price when I got home and experienced a cold. And of course, as you know, I mentioned this before, I don't believe in germ theory. This is about detoxing, releasing all of the energies because I was taking on so much energy when I was there as well that I couldn't, it's not really processing it, but I wasn't able to clear. I wasn't able to clear. I wasn't able to discharge the energies as I normally would because I was so much in density. And now I came back down into the same sphere here. And when I got back from Paraguay, boom, I was in bed, full on. And I have not experienced pain in my body in many, many years. I have not experienced pain like I did. And it's basically been my ear, my throat, it's like my bones, my skull, pressure in the head, etc. Now, again, all of this that I'm experiencing can be very different for you, can be very different for any of us because we are all on unique soul journeys and we're also being called to just to be more than what we've been in the past. Not only are we here to uplift our own lives, not only are we here to uplift our clients' lives, but we're also here to uplift the earth grid at the same time. We're here to uplift spiritually, energetically, and you might not even know that you're doing this work. You might be doing this work in your dream state, the moment you go to sleep until the moment you wake up. How many of you are feeling kind of exhausted when you get up in the morning? My pain has been in my hips, which someone has said is mother pain. Yeah, and hip pain can also be the fear of moving forward as well. I get it. So now, of course, the ear also symbolizes not listening to instructions. Remember, I've shared with you that we've got the NPC, you've got the architect, and then you've got source player. So the architect is your higher self. The architect is the aspect of you that's giving you instructions from source. And if we're ignoring those instructions, boom, we go into NPC mode. And that's what happened to me. So if I look at, this is the throne. So this is the throne source player right here. We are meant to be here on this throne within our own consciousness. This is the throne of the I am. It is the throne of what is God, what is source, divine love. Love is the true power. And when we're in this energy, there is no pain and suffering here. Zero pain and suffering. However, if we're not listening to the architect, listening to instructions, then we will fall like I did. So I fell into the murky mud. So I then became NPC, non-player character. So we all can be an NPC in one moment and a source player in the next moment. And this is not, again, to judge ourselves. Non-player character is the automatic pilot. When we're on automatic pilot, we're not listening to source, we're not listening to the divine instructions, we're just autopilot. I'm just going to do what I want to do here in the pain and suffering world, in the 3D world. And that's how so many people stay stuck in that 3D world, because when you're this far down, it is very difficult, not difficult, I'm going to delete the word difficult, challenging. It can be really challenging to make your way back up onto the chair, onto the throne. But it is a must. It is a must. And this is what the spiritual battle is really all about. It is the resilience, no matter how much pain and suffering you're going through, to keep seeing yourself spiraling up and going to the throne, staying there as long as you can. And then the NPC will take over again. But this is so key right now. This is the sovereignty work that we are here to do. Because there's a lot of NPCs, they're real, like they're human majority. However, a lot of them are still asleep to the whole spectrum of what life is really all about. They're still listening to the government, listening to the politicians, listening to the leaders outside of them instead of getting instructions right from source. And source is always here to make our life great. Life is always supporting us. So what I really had to do here was I needed to harmonize with 3D reality. And I realized that I wasn't in harmony with 3D reality. There's a lot about 3D reality that I don't really like. But I realized that my resistance to 3D reality is not going to assist me in spiraling up to 5D consciousness. I've been doing the work in regards to releasing my resistance to 3D reality. Because if I have resistance to 3D reality, I'm going to have a challenging time rendering what I want to experience. Because 3D reality is the game that is here to work in your favor if you know how to play it. But if we have resistance to 3D, we're going to have a really challenging time rendering. It's not manifestation because it rendering happens like this. It's like that pink car. It happens. It's just it's the programming, right? It's the program, the simulation that we're all in. And when we really start to see that we are in a simulation, we let go. We let go of so much fear. What I'm going to say next is really going to make a lot of sense. And let me know in the chat if this helps you see reality different, okay? So NPCs, non-player characters, remember in the movie The Matrix? And Neo would be logged in and he would be on a subway. And then all of a sudden the camera would pan over and you would see a man sitting there on the bench. And all of a sudden he'd be activated and he would become an agent. And he would be against Neo. Remember that? So he would be against and Neo would be fighting him. Well, it was because Neo still hadn't connected to his source player self. He was still fighting NPCs because a part of him was still NPC. The amazing thing is that when you're a source player, all NPCs are here to serve you. Let's breathe that in. When you are a source player mode, all NPCs are here to serve you. Okay, what do I mean by that? I was in Sobeys and I was getting some flowers. And there was a lineup at the till, a lineup at the self when you pay the self checkout. And as I'm walking and I'm watching the customer service woman that's there, and it was like she just activated. It was like she just turned on and said, "You come here." And I'm like, "Okay, this is great," because I was last in line, so I think maybe the fifth person over here should have been chosen. But she said to me, come over," and she says, "I will take care of you and the flowers." And as I'm walking over, Source is letting me know in the moment, activated to serve. So when you are in divine love, you will always have people around you to serve you. It's just like when I went to a grocery store back in the day when people were wearing masks and I wasn't wearing one. And I would walk into the store, and Claire is actually the one who reminded me of this. And I would walk into the store, and then instead of these NPCs coming and attacking me because they were coming towards me, but then all of a sudden there's management blocking, and they wanted to make sure that I was going to have a great experience in their store and that I was protected and that I could be in their store without a mask. Let's take this to another level. Doesn't that just give you so much freedom to know that there's nothing to fear in reality anymore? There's nothing to fear. Zero, zero fear because everyone's going to be activating to serve you. Woo-hoo. Let's step into our magnificence there. Isn't that incredible? Breathe this in into every cell of your body. Let me know, does this make sense for you? Does this make you feel excited? Do you get what I'm putting down? Yes, MC. Agent Smith was definitely helping him wake up. Absolutely. So when Neo remembered that he was a Swords player, then he could be with the agents, and of course, bullets couldn't even touch him. Nothing could touch him because he was pure love, pure light. It's incredible the realm that we live in. It is truly remarkable when we remember how magnificent we are. Now, another piece that I want to share with you, when you are moving through pain and suffering, there is, like, I'm just going to use this is a head, by the way. When you're experiencing pressure in the head, it looks like a tornado. When you can actually see it, it's actually a tornado in the brain and or wherever, in your hip, in your knee. It's actually energy, it's a tornado. When Source took me into their tornado, it was so incredible. I was shown, so if you can picture this yourself, it's like you're at the top of a tornado, you're looking down onto a tornado, and then all of a sudden, consciousness takes you into the tornado, and then you can all of a sudden see the objects that are in their tornado. And all the objects that I was seeing in their tornado was me every time I was on Instagram. So it's like Instagram Reels. And I'm seeing Instagram Reels. I'm seeing Facebook Reels. I'm seeing data that I'm collecting from, doing my research on the computer. But I'm seeing it. That's all in the tornado because it belongs to the external reality. It belongs to the external reality. So it's all chaos. It is dirty electricity. It's distortion full on. But it's like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing that made me laugh is seeing the Instagram reels. And I'm not even on Instagram a lot. I cannot imagine what people who are on Instagram all day long or Facebook all day long. I remember going for a walk the other day around my pond. I went around 3 times, and there's a man in his car. His car is on, and he's on his phone. And you can tell that he's going through, I don't know, TikTok or whatever, right? And he's there. And it takes me about 15 minutes to walk around, and he's still there again. Still there again. I'm maybe on Facebook 10 minutes maximum. Then in the afternoon, I'll go on for 10 minutes. So I'm seeing this in my own tornado. So everything that we're collecting in the external world, and we think, oh, yeah, I'm just going to read this on my laptop. I'm just going to check this out on Google. I'm going to check some reels on Instagram. The mind is taking it all in, frame by frame by frame. How are we to render a beautiful reality if that's our frames from the external world? The source is showing me that we as society, if we want to remember our magnificence and remember how powerful we are, we need to have discipline. Discipline from the external reality. Believe me, I get it. I get it. I think for me, food and knowing that my addiction to food, and I believe everyone has an addiction to food because it's just a program. It's a program to, oh, I have to eat breakfast. Oh, have to eat lunch. Oh, I have to eat dinner. Oh, snack. It's just programming. And I'm becoming aware of the programming wrapped around food. I've disciplined myself in many, many areas of my life, but Paraguay taught me how I need to shift my thoughts on on not what I eat, but in how I eat, etc. And to know that yes, I can definitely still enjoy an awesome pasta dish. I can still enjoy sourdough bread. It's just in moderation. And I know that if I'm going through an energetic shift or I'm about to do some spiritual healing in the invisible realms, that source is definitely going to be saying, we need to fast today. I'm like, okay, I'm going to fast and to honor that, to honor whatever source is sharing with me. And I might not know in the moment, like, really? I can't eat that today. I won't know maybe until the next day or the next day after that when I'm in my own meditation and then I see what's going down and what's being created. And that these tornadoes are actually meant to create new planes of reality. That's how powerful our mind is. Our brain is actually rendering other levels of reality, multidimensional realities that we get to experience. But if we're still stuck in the external realm of trying to gather information from the external realm, it's going to clutter our energetic field up. And I want to say here, I get it because I love collecting data. I love going down rabbit holes and researching. And I'm still going to do that 100%. I know Esther does that a lot too. She loves to research. And I think a lot of you do. I know that I want to do a podcast on the Book of Enoch. I'm still going to be researching. However, I know that there's moments where, yeah, I don't need to be doing this right now. So listening to source. One of the biggest tips I can give you is to, before you take action on anything, pause. It's the 5 second pause. The 5 second pause. Is this action going to serve me? And then listen to the instructions. And if source says, no, don't do it, don't do it. Okay. And if source, your operator, right? Listening to instructions, it's having that awareness in the moment. Because if you listen, you will not have pain and suffering. The more we listen, the more we tune in, we are going to render the most beautiful reality just by thinking about it, not by effort. Effort is in the 3D here, below the line. Yes, we still need to do what we need to do. The law of least resistance. Catherine, I've refused to fly anymore. The EMFs in the plane are too much for me. So, Catherine, when you're in source player mode, you are a trillion times more powerful than EMF. Source player mode, you are a trillion times more powerful than EMF. Again, EMF is a 3D thing. And when you're here, your field, it's strong. It's so powerful. We actually have a Merkaba field, and the Merkaba field, when activated, And when we are in source player mode, eventually we will be able to take that field and portal anywhere. We were not going to even need planes. But yeah, so Catherine, I get it because that was an issue for me too. However, again, this is what I was saying earlier, is that I need to harmonize with 3D reality. We cannot fear 3D reality because if we fear 3D reality, we're giving our power away. 3D reality, say this out loud. 3D reality is a simulation. You are a source player. So if you're not finding the NPCs around you as serving you, does that mean that you're not in source player mode and not coming from love? Yes, it can be. It could be that you are all in non-player character. So if you're in non-player character, it means you could be in your ego. You could be in, I'm right. You could be in that place of autopilot. You're not even aware that you're in NPC mode. If you are in source player mode, I guarantee you that any NPC will be activated to serve you. It was just like when we were in Brazil, we missed our flight because Air Canada was delayed, and we got to the Latam, and there was nobody there to assist us. So we were kind of standing around, Claire and Carol and I were standing around waiting for assistance, and we went back upstairs. And the people that we were dealing with, they were definitely NPC mode because they had no idea how to help us. And then all of a sudden, we were back downstairs or back in security, and all of a sudden, a woman shows up and another woman from Air Canada shows up, and it was just, they were taking care of us, the three of us, immediately. It was so incredible to witness that. Now, I hadn't got the download yet that NPCs are going to be activated. So we were just kind of looking back and going, well, that was a perfect example of NPCs being activated just like that in service mode. And they even escorted us to our hotel, etc. So sometimes we may need to be patient, but they will always show up 100% to serve us. We are all coming back home to ourselves. Just say this out loud. I'm coming back home to myself. We're all coming back home to our heart. We're coming back home to divine love. I've actually had a few Christians get really mad at me because they said, we're not God. And I said, well, you're not God who's created the universe. I said, you are God, which means divine love. And source is omnipresence. And you are omnipresence. Every cell within us has the divine spark. And we are here to activate the divine spark within ourselves. So right now, I want you to close your eyes. Just focusing on your breath. I want this to be easy for you. So even if you're not able to imagine it, that's okay. I want you to see yourself in the murky mud. So a murky mud, it's darkness. And I want you to see yourself just like Superwoman or Superman. You got a cape on. You're standing now, you're standing out of the mud, and just see yourself Superman or your Superwoman cape on, and you've got your arms stretched out, your fingers pointing to the sky. And I want you to see yourself flying now. You're starting to fly up, and you're flying up out of the darkness. You're flying up out of the mud. You're flying up out of the fear, out of the anger, out of resentment, out of restriction, out of disease, out of pain, out of suffering. You're rising up. See yourself rising up out of the mud, out of 3D, out of NPC mode. And then see yourself now plopping on, like you just see yourself sitting on a throne, a beautiful chair. This is the Godhead throne within your divine consciousness. See yourself sitting there now. And I want you to feel, just for a moment, I want you to feel yourself on that chair, what it feels like, how you feel. Do you feel small? Do you feel like you belong there? Do you feel connected to the chair? Whatever you feel, comes up for you, any resistance, and just say to yourself, I'm reclaiming the throne. I'm reclaiming the throne. This is where your peace lives. And just know that there is no such thing as pain and suffering. You might even experience pain and suffering muted down below. It's muted. You can experience that there's another plane of reality down below. But you know that here on the throne is pure love. And this love can wrap itself around you like a warm blanket. And as you're sitting here, you're saying, I am source player. Feel your calmness here. This is the real you. This is the truth. You are living in truth right here. Everything outside of you on this throne is the simulation. I am remembering my power. I am reclaiming my divine power now. I'm reclaiming my sovereign power now. And so it is. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Yes, Christina. Christina, does it go both ways? Can I direct source to work for me? Absolutely, you can, Christina. Yes, you are here to render the field. You are here to create the life that you are here to create. We really don't have manifestation problems in life, really. It's an identity problem. because your NPC is connected to an identity. So you get to change. If you don't like the identity that you're being because you're not getting the results you want, then you just need to change the identity. You need to change the character, just like in a video game. Now, it takes a while for our character, the new character to upload because we have been in NPC mode for so long that it's a constant. It's not just changing your frequency once and expecting reality to render. It's constant every moment. And then as you do this work, and this is what I'm teaching in the private members portal, is the activations. It's the activations that are going to start shifting you in really powerful ways. It's going to be a moment where you've been saying the activations over and over and over again, and they eventually become your default setting. Right now, so many people have a default setting that is massively below the line. We need to change that 100%. How was your experience on the throne? Let me know in the chat. How did you feel? This is really the work that we need to be doing right now. I know there's a lot of sovereigns that are working on paperwork. That paperwork, it's the whole kingdom of the simulation. You don't need to go into the simulation to change the simulation. You need just to be source player, and the simulation is going to render whatever you desire. We just have to be listening. Listening. So key. And there's moments where we don't want to listen to the operator because we've been doing things a certain way. However, discipline equals expansion. Discipline equals expansion. If Star says, just have some fruit for breakfast. Oh, okay, I'll have fruit for breakfast. And don't have anything for lunch. I'm like, okay, I'm like, lunch. And then 3 o'clock comes around and I get a text, hey, do you want to go out for dinner? I've been wanting to go to this restaurant and I'm just being spontaneous and I thought I'd reach out and see if you wanted to go. And then, of course, yes, I would love to go out for dinner. That's how Source works. Source knows I love going out for dinner, so Source always can see way ahead. Way ahead. So if we trust in the instructions, where we want to go is always going to show up with ease and grace. Ease and grace. Jacqueline, my throne is a living throne like vines with fragrant, beautiful flowers. It is a golden spire rising at the top of the back of the throne to a ball and a point. Full source connection. It is a lovely spot, very grounded, even though it seems the throne was not sitting on the ground, maybe in the ether somewhere. Yes, Jacqueline. It is definitely in the ether. Yes, that's beautiful. When you can create vivid imagery around your throne, you bring it to life. Thank you for that, Jacqueline. Kathy says, I felt large and in charge on the throne, wearing a sparkling crown, brilliant light all around. Yes, absolutely. So when I went to my throne, Source said, Karen, are you done? Are you done in the murky mud? Are you done with living below the line? I'm like, yes. And all of a sudden, I was taken to the Godhead. I'm on the throne. And on the throne, there's my crown. And I didn't even think to put it on because I had so much pressure in my head from the tornado. Because only you can put the crown on your head. Lots of people are waiting for Jesus to save them. That's okay. They can do whatever they want. I'm saying put the crown on your head. So when you put the crown on your head, it's not gold, like heavy. It's not made of physical reality. It is the ether. It is pure light. So that's the next step for you in your own time, tonight, tomorrow. Do this every single day. Take yourself to the throne because the more you take yourself there, default setting, you're changing reality. You're changing to 3D, 5D, and watch the miracles begin to happen in your life. Very, very exciting. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Lots of love. I look forward to seeing you next Monday.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
That was
Magnificent. Thank you so much.
Karen. Thank you, Karen. That was great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Awesome.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.